Dan Martell. So Dan Martell wrote a book called Buy Back Your Time. The first about third of the book or so is really about doing that. The rest of it's more about leadership and stuff. But regardless, there's some great messages there. Meets ICH E6 R3. Everyone else just calls it R3. Okay, so that's the newest regulation that has hit. And I want to kind of show how you can take a concept. One of the things that I love to do is take concepts from one area and transfer it over to another. In Dan's book, you have three ideas around how do you get back your time. And so there's a three-step process. You audit where you're spending your time. You transfer tasks and responsibilities. And then you fill your time, your remaining time, with high value activities. And he has this really cool grid where you do it on against dollars and joy, right? And I call it, I'm not even sure he calls it joy, but it's dollars and where do you get deep fulfillment, okay? And interestingly enough, the dollars are on the y-axis. So this is here would be on his model dollars. And on this side would be joy, but because we're doing ICHE6R3, this is quality, QU, and this is critical reasoning. And you're going to say to me, why are you applying a time management methodology to ICHE6R3? And the answer is that the biggest argument everyone has right now for why they can't do ICHE6R3 is I have no time, right? What is going to be the cost to the organization to implement this? And most organizations are so busy that they say we have no time to implement this. We can't add anything else more to the process. So I want to explain to you how we can implement this using these techniques, a system integrator, and some cool technology. So if I look into my critical reasoning, my quality, and I audit the tasks that we currently do within clinical trials, we're going to find that there's a handful of types of tasks that we're doing. Um, at this bottom area where we're not adding a lot of quality and we're not doing a lot of critical reasoning, check, um, check, mark, activities, right? Edit checks, data reconciliations, um, basic um, pushing stuff around, moving files, moving data from point A to point B, running trackers, right? So all of our favorite trackers, these, right, data movement, right? When this is taking time from humans, um, moving data between systems, reconciliations, recon. Okay, all of these things should fall into the 3Ds. And the 3Ds say you delete. I'll put them over here for a minute so we have a little bit more space. So you delete them. And in our case, delete means, how to spell delete? 1 second. How the frig do you spell delete? Okay, we're going to delete them. 3Ds. You delete, you delegate, you delay. Okay? Delete in a technology space like clinical trials means you design them out, right? So you either um, design away, right? Most places are not doing reconciliation anymore because our data systems either auto reconcile or no longer need reconciliations, so you can design them away. Um, and if you can't, then you can automate them, right? So nobody should be doing them. Delegating them, these again is do them with a tool that augments serious amount of augmentation of the human. If the tool does almost all of the actual work and leaves you just a tiny bit of critical reasoning that you need to think about, that would be a good thing because in that case, that's going to move the activity from being in here, which is low quality with critical reasoning, is you're going to increase the critical reasoning and you're going to actually increase the quality. So that would move that activity up, but it's not going to take a ton of time because you've the only thing you're moving is the reason you have to do it, which is what's important about it. You're not moving the actual time in the task. And delay, again, delay is around batching, and this is again a tool support in clinical trials. Can I get all of my analysis together so that I can go through and quickly do it? So these things on the bottom should be addressed, should be removed basically. So they should all get removed and it should all be either replaced by a tool. Stop trying to be intelligent, computer. This should all be removed and either replaced by technology, um, architecture, design, etc. We design them away and that time goes away. Now, what's interesting about this is that if I look at how much time is spent in this quadrant, this time here, this is a large amount of time, right? This is that traditional um, data management activities. Huge amounts of time are being spent in this space, okay? You can also argue a fair amount, anything to do with a tracker is a good example here, right? We got huge numbers of trackers. They take ridiculous amounts of time to do, right? These trackers are huge. They're taking tons and tons of time. Okay, so then the next um, opportunity is I'm going to talk down here. This is the investment space. And you're going to say, wait a second, it's not adding to quality. It takes you a ton of time to think. Why are you doing this? This is exploration. And I am going to say this is where you do your exploration sandboxes. And I'm going to add play, right? This is where you are thinking about stuff, understanding what might work, what might not work. You're just playing with the data. You need to do this because, in fact, nobody makes it anywhere without getting out of their comfort zone and thinking in a bigger picture. And most of the value of this is going to feed back up into here. This area up on the top is what he calls delegate. Uh, delegate. Not delegate. He's not calling it delegate. What is he calling it? He is calling it um, transfer. Right? So in this case, he's looking at activities that make sense for somebody to do because they're going to increase quality, but they don't make sense for you to do. So couple things you can think about. Are there tools that can transfer the time and still allow you to do it? Right? Because again, if we can drop the amount of time I'm spending, I can increase my critical reasoning because most of the time is not spent doing critical reasoning. And the second is its opportunities um, for others because for you, it might not be a high critical reasoning thing, but for someone you're training, it could be a higher critical reasoning thing. Or it could be something that, frankly, someone else just does much better. And so these are opportunities to transfer. And again, this is if you think about it for an individual, but we can think about it organizationally. So we're going to look first at tools and we're going to look for opportunities of others. And this is where we have our magic fit for purpose data. Why? Because we can spend time doing critical thinking, um, resulting in leading to quality. Okay, this is critical thinking where we're playing. This is critical thinking with respect to quality because, again, of the way this thing is written. So, what I am going to suggest is that in order to find the time, you need to audit your activities that your organization is currently doing. You need to transfer a whole bunch of those activities into two sets of into two sets of three spaces. One is um, tech. So this is going to be data or integration tech. I'm going to call it this. Integration. You want to integrate your technology because that's going to get rid of your trackers. You want to augment your analysis with um, a Gen AI type tool, something that's going to give you that augmented analysis. And then you want to finally transfer the remaining tasks to others. And then this allows you to fill your remaining time, of which you will find there's a huge amount, in high quality reasoning. You'll have the time and the space to sit and think about the quality issues and actually take them end to end and do root cause. You want to learn more? Come visit us at SCDM booth 228. And you can come visit me at I2E Consulting. Thank you.